inside the company and in society as a whole. And to make it a bit easier to visualize what we actually do, I think you're more familiar with the UN Global Goals. Again, sorry that I didn't have this in English, but you probably recognize them just by the number and the color. Yeah, so these are like the global goals that are connected to the different areas of our sustainability strategy. So that is also something that you could have in mind. Like, if you use these global goals, that will make it very tangible for us how we could work with your solution. If you connect it to like, okay, so our solution contributes to this global goal or this global goal, then that will help us to internalize it. All right. So basically our sustainability work focuses on creating value, like I spoke of before, for customer, company, society, and of course the environment. We try to have the customer at the center all the time, like you heard just now before, to try to get into the minds of the customer. We try to also do that all the time, get into the minds and the feelings of the customer. What are they feeling? What are they thinking in different aspects of our processes? People and society as a whole, the environment and the climate, and also to have, of course, responsible affairs, like with the portfolio management. We are currently in kind of a shift. History-wise, we have worked a lot with preventing and working with claims related to fires, water damage, theft, and personal estate. And of course, this is something that we still do, but we are now seeing risks and more damages and claims regarding these kinds of things, like the environment and how the climate is changing. Cyber crimes is getting very large. Integration problems, inequality problems, physical and mental health is also a big thing. So this is like a shift that we are currently doing. We will never stop doing this, but we are also working to integrating the future risks and the future problems that we see. Okay, so how do we do it then? How do we create value for society and the company and so on? This is a list, and it's very long, and I won't go through everything, but you can read. I will take some examples of what we do for society. One thing that we do is that we distribute reflective vests to preschools in the entire county. If you work at the preschool, you can basically apply for vests at our website, and we will just send them to you for free. So that is something that we work with and have done for a long time. This is something that we also do every year. We, together with JRAB, which is like the waste company of this county, we collect scrap and environmentally hazardous waste from farmers. It's something that we offer inside their insurance when they have a farm. So we go there, or JRAB goes there and collects scrap to make sure that the farm is safe. Yeah, we have installed a bunch of water alarms, and that helps us to find water leaks. And we work a lot with, like, when we prevent fire and when we prevent water leaks, that helps us with the climate as well, because regular house fire is expected to be around 25 tons of carbon dioxide. And a water leak is like 300 kilos or something like that. So for every damage, every loss that we prevent, we help the environment as well. Like, the best damage is the damage that never happens. What else do we do? Well, yeah, we provide society with different safety equipment for extreme weather. Like, we have provided like barriers to help like the fire department steer away water if there's a flood. So these are some of the things that we do. And what's in it for the climate then? Well, we have also worked with our own business, like our buildings, installation of solar cells, which provides now like half of our company needs. Yeah, like I mentioned, our asset management is very large, like 7 billion Swedish crowns, and we work to half the CO2 footprint. And we also work, like the theme of this innovation race is circular economy. And what we do regarding circular economy currently is this. We have circular handling of small electronics, which saves over 70 tons of CO2 in the last year. And this means that instead of handing in your phone and just automatically, like if you call and say, oh, I lost my phone, historically we just said, okay, here's your money, do what you want with the phone. And that is like how it usually has worked in the insurance sector overall. But now you have to hand in your phone so that we can recycle it. Or you have to prove that you have given it to a repair person so that they can recycle the parts. And that's when you get your money. So this is how we try to evoke circular economy in that part. We work with circular claims management of hardwood floors. This is a very good way to start to work in the building sector. Usually if you have like a dishwasher and there's a water leak, the floor is probably only damaged like maybe 2 meters around the machine. But the hardwood floors that we have today usually means that you have to take out the entire floor, even though there's just like 1 or 2 square meters that's damaged. So we try to work with other parties that only change the part that's damaged and make sure that it looks good. So there's also one thing that we do with circular claims management, and also we have in our deals with all of the car dealers that work with the cars that we get in, they use reused materials in around 12% of the cases. And you may feel like this number is low, and it is low, but that is only because there's now a great lack of parts, basically. We can see every time a car dealer that we work with, or not a dealer, like a car repairman, every time that they search for reused materials, we can see that. And we see that they do it in like 80% of the cases where they get a damage, but they can only find reused materials in 12%. So that is like a large problem for society overall, that how do we get the materials for cars to actually get to the car repairs? Yeah, so that is some things that we do. And for our employees, the well-being of our employees is amongst the most important thing there is, because if we feel good, then we will work better with all of these things. Like if we feel well, then we will do more for society and the climate overall. So yeah, we have a bunch of different things that should make us feel better. Like we have a gym, we have an active work on anti-discrimination every year. We monitor like wage gaps and stuff like that to make sure that we have a fair working environment. And to sum it up, what we want to achieve with our sustainability work is this. We want to protect the security and safety of our customers and do things that are good for both them and the development of our society. We want to reduce the claims costs to increase safety and welfare in the county, as well as enabling greater returns for our owners. Well, that's something that I didn't mention. Like, if it goes well for us and we have a surplus, we give the money back to the owners, the clients. So if you have länsförsäkringar insurance right now, you probably got some money, or you will like next week or something. This year we are handing out 250 million back to the customers of this county. That's a great thing. So the better it goes for us, the more money you will get back, basically, as a customer or an owner. Okay, and finally, we also want to build our brand towards existing and potential customers. Sustainability is also a very important component in attracting new employees. So this is like what we want to achieve, basically, with our sustainability work. All right, now let's hop into questions. Yeah.
Are your assets split by county? So out of the 7 billion crowns you were talking about, does it belong to Jönköping?
Yeah. guess like the 7 billion crowns that applies to is the like the money that we get from the customers when they buy their insurance. So that is money that we invest into the stock market, basically. So it's not like we have 7 billion lying around. Yeah, so good question.
Take the chance now, because now we have the time. So yeah.
Related to the asset management, you said that a large portion of your emissions, or the emissions that are associated with länsförsäkringar,
Yeah.
stem from that process, or
Yeah.
how come?
Yeah. Why? Yeah, good question. Okay, so when we look at our emissions, we see that it's the asset management and also the customers. But okay, so let's focus on the asset management. It means that basically if we invest in Volvo, the emissions that Volvo has kind of applies to us. I don't know if you have had courses yet when you're talking about the like scopes of the GHG protocol. Yeah, so it's our scope 3 basically. The asset management is in scope 3, and also of course the damages that the customers have, like if a building burns to the ground and you have to build it up again, of course there's a bunch of emissions related to that, like getting material to the site and using new material in a lot of cases. That also gives us large emissions, and that is, those two are our largest emissions, the asset management and the damages. And they're all in scope 3, so it's easy to tackle. And
Okay.
Yeah.
But I, as a customer, if how can I make sure that my pensions, or what I save for my pensions, gets invested into sustainable projects?
Also good question. Well, when there this August a law was it started applying to all of the banking and insurance companies, all of the finance sector got a law that states that in every meeting when you advise a customer where to invest their money, you have to ask for their sustainability preferences. It's called the disclosure förordningen, so you can Google that if you want to. And that states that basically if you come into it, you want to talk pension, I have to ask you, okay, so what are your sustainability preferences? And then we have to take that into account. So then we look at all of the different, like in what we have in our portfolio, all of the different options, and they are marked like light green, dark green, and different kinds of sustainability certifications, and we can steer your money into that direction.
Okay. Maybe that's too much of it. I would,
No, go ahead.
I'd still like to ask, these certifications, where do you get them from? Or do you do yourselves, like the assessment of the projects, or do you use them?
No, we don't. I guess it's not something that we do here in Jönköping. That is something that we do at länsförsäkringar AB. But the specific certifications that we use, that's not certifications that we have come up with. Like in the disclosure förordningen, there's a criteria for what a light green or a dark green asset is. And like light green means that it has like sustainability taken into consideration, and dark green means that the sustainability is the goal of that company, or and you could also take into account that I think now in Sweden we have like 4% that's dark green. So that's a very, very small portfolio as of today. Länsförsäkringar does not have any own like funds or stocks that are dark green, but of course we can recommend other funds or stocks that are dark green. So you can still get them from us, but we haven't created them, if that makes sense.
But then does that mean that the criteria is set by the Swedish government?
Yeah, even the EU actually. So the laws that apply to us, most of the time they come from international, financial sector. What you call it? Like they manage the entire sector all over the world and set the laws and like what we should do to be a proper insurance and banking company basically. And EU makes the laws, so that's usually the case that we follow them, or we have to, of course. Also, you could also know that in Sweden, they usually take the law from EU and make it a bit harder. Like in Sweden, they usually make it a bit more strict and like take it up a notch. And then we also work with a company called Morningstar, and they have a sustainability certification for the like funds and stocks. Yeah.
Will we have access to the presentation?
I think so. I have sent it to Karin, and for me it's totally fine if you send it along.
Yeah. And maybe it's already on Canvas, I don't know, but we have to check it out.
Could be.
Do you offer, or do you even ask existing customers for their preferences when it comes to sustainability?
Oh, you mean like if we like call them like?
Yeah,
No, right now it's just like when you come in and you want to make like actual changes or start like your pension or something like that. Yeah, and also something that is coming very soon is like this is so hard in English. Like if you get a loan for your apartment or your house, like a green loan, basically a green loan for your house. That is something that's coming for us. And that is one place where I mentioned like sometimes it's good and sometimes it's hard to be a very old company. That time it was hard being an old company because we have all of these like processes and rules that we have followed all like for 200 years, and like the green loans for the housing market are new. So all of the other like banks and insurance companies, they have that already, but it was harder for us to fit it in to like our current processes. So that's coming now. So that's one time where it's harder being old. Yeah.
In terms of like investing in different stocks, do you have like a limitation or like a maximum carbon emission that each stock is producing? Or do you know?
No, we don't. We have the goal that our entire portfolio should decrease by half. And we have also different rules that we use the principles to basically affect, to choose in, or like to eliminate something from our portfolio. So our first thought, if we have like different criteria, like so 5% of the money in like Volvo, for example, can't be from controversial weapons or from a certain type of oil, or we have criteria. And if we find a company, when we search through the portfolio, or when Jan searches through the portfolio, if he sees a company, oh, this doesn't fit with our criteria, then we have the first reaction is to try to affect the companies. That is also something you can have in mind. Like when you get the case, our idea is not to just say like, oh, you're not sustainable, we can't work with you anymore. Then we want to affect them. We want to try to change them. Like that applies to both our portfolio companies, and it applies to the carpenters and the car repair shops that we work with when we get like the claims errands. We try to affect them to become more sustainable, because we really want to continue working with the local actors. We want to work with the small companies that has like maybe a family business, like 1 or 2 employees. And for them, usually it's harder to adapt to the like sustainability laws that are coming, because like us, maybe they're older companies, and it's harder. Like for the large companies like Peab and Volvo and IKEA and H&M, like sustainability is like they think about it all the time, every day. And we don't only want to work with them. We want to work with the local and small actors. So that's something to have in mind. Like, how can we stay local, and how can we basically fuel entrepreneurship in this county, not dim it, or
Can you tell us more about how preventing losses work? Like, what is the process? Is it like randomly selected where you go out, or?
We can fall is that we have been to, the associations that like old people are in. Like if you're retired, you're in like an organization or like a group, and you go to different like lectures and stuff. So we have been at those kind of lectures to talk about climate change, basically. How do I protect my house in a changed climate? Like if there's a risk for a flood, I see on the news that it's going to rain a lot. How do I protect my house? So that is one thing we do, like we educate. We have invited people to our office to make the HLR courses. We hand out a lot of like fire extinguishers. And if you have a fire at home and you use a fire extinguisher from us, then you can't use it again, but you can hand it in to us, and we take care of it, and you get a new one for free, because you have made the counties more safe, basically. So we want to reward that. So you get a new one for free. And we also work a lot, like I said, with farmers. We have different certifications that you can get, like safe farm or safe farmer. So we have people who work with just that, like going through our customers and looking at their farms and then certifying the farms that are, filling the criteria to be a safe farm, basically. And that is something that we have seen results from. That if we compare ourselves to other counties, we have limited damages in farms. Of course, there's always going to be some damages, but we have seen a decrease because we're doing this, for example. So I think a lot of it is about educating.
So first you certify the farms and then you decide the rates based on that, or how does it work?
Yeah. In all of the insurance sector, like the lower the risk something has, the cheaper it is for the customer. Yeah. Any questions from this side? Or maybe the middle? Yeah.
Well, at least thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
It was long, so I'm just wondering. I feel like it's a good insurance company, but what exactly, in short, distinguishes this company from any other insurance company? In short, can you describe that?
Yeah, I think the thing that distinguishes us is that we are not like a national company. We are, like I said, we're 23 different companies in entire Sweden. So that makes us very knowledgeable about our county and like the risks we have here. If we compare ourselves to Halland, for example, Halland is like our neighboring county, and they have a lot of damage with water because they are in the coast. So they are more like, they're experts in that department, and they have more people who work with that, and they can help them faster because they are close. Here in Jönköping, we don't have any coastlines, so we're not good like about that. But we have a bunch of farms, so we have specialized in that department, basically. So I think that is something that distinguishes us from different insurance and banking companies, because we can be there faster. It's something that you also can do with länsförsäkringar, which I'm not sure if you can do anywhere else. I'm not sure, but I know that if your house burns down in the middle of the night, or if something happens in the middle of the night, you can call us, and someone from länsförsäkringar will be there in the middle of the night, together with like the fire extinguishers and everything. Like we will be there with you from the first moment of your damage, basically. And that is something that distinguishes us as well, that we want to be there fast, we want to be there close, and we want to give you one person through the entire process. So that, and also, like the local thing, and also that we have everything under the same roof, that we're not just insurance company, we're also banking and real estate agency. So that if you buy a house, you can go through us, through the entire process of buying a house. Yeah. Did it answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
And do I as a client have one contact person for every single product I would have with you, or like insurances and banking?
No, No, it was like that before, but as the company has been growing and everything gets more complicated, we can't really have a person being an expert in both insurance things and banking things. But of course you have like I said, if you get a damage, like if your car is stolen or damaged in any way, you will have one person who helps you with that. Yeah, and you will have one person who helps you with all of your banking things. Yeah. I know that if you, sorry, you will get to ask your question, but I know that if you go into one of the offices that we have in the county, like if you go into the office in Värnamo, those offices are a bit smaller than the main office here. So if you go in there, maybe someone can have a fair knowledge of both of the things. But if you have like a hard question or something like that, then we have experts on different. Yeah.
Yeah, you said that you're also doing something for equality and equity. Can you maybe give some examples of
Of course.
what they look like?
Of course. Okay, if we start with society, in society we work with equality in the ways that when we sponsor the sports associations, a very important thing for us is that it's equal between boys and girls. Previously, there's been a lot more money for the boys' sports, historically in entire Sweden and the world, I guess. But we divide it equally between boys and girls. And if there's a boys-dominated sports and you have like an equal amount of members in your sports associations, you will be rewarded for that. So we try to fuel the sports associations here that work a lot with their equality. So that is something that we have been working with for a while. So now we are looking to other kinds of equality. We try to invest in we have a association in Råslätt that's called Underground Råslätt, and they don't only work with Råslätt, they work with all of the county basically. But they are situated in Råslätt, and they work with different ways to help the young kids there to have basically possibilities in life. Like maybe if they